Fucking camera went out again, eh?
Yeah, I think it froze up.
That thing's ridiculous. I don't know why it keeps doing that. Just got you on the, what was it, Saturday there you were doing your stream. Looks like you're coming along with that stuff, eh?
Yeah.
You learned all that just by doing that rocksmith thing, huh?
Pretty much. Like, I mean, there was a little bit of time where I was part of a band for a little while, and the guitarist was teaching me a few things.
Right.
But, it was like not actual formal teaching. So, I don't really him saying, hey, play this note, then this note, then this note.
Right.
Just play that for a while, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll try that. And from that, I was able to build upon all these different things, because I was like, okay, well, I got the basic rhythm down, so I can kind of just throw in bits of flair and stuff.
Right.
But yeah, like everything I know about like music theory and scales and chords and all that stuff, all of it I learned from that game pretty much.
Oh, okay, fair enough. I was gonna say you learned that doing the band thing, but no, I guess, okay, fair enough.
No. Yeah. Because I mean, a lot of it became me going out and looking for material to learn with.
Right.
Like, looking up, like, videos of people doing, like, music theory and stuff like that. But it was the game that got me to go out and do that, because otherwise I would have just been, like, fumbling around with my guitar in the middle of in the middle of the night.
Should I take a photo of this before I clean it up? Probably, eh? Oh, fuck.
Only if you want to remember it.
Why does this thing refuse to stay active? Like, it's not that bad. It's not like I need it to display just yet, really. I need it to work for you guys so you can see it. Oh, but didn't we decide last time that it didn't really matter? That you just watch the stream anyway? I can't remember.
I usually just I'll switch back and forth between the stream and the actual hangouts.
Yeah. There's Casa, there it is. Fix up the house site here. Come on, there it is. That's a little better. Good times. Oh yeah, fucking photo. Granddad over here, I guess. Frankie didn't tell us last week he was going to make it this week, did he? He'd be early, but...
He didn't say anything about missing this week.
Alright. I haven't seen anything from him either. Suddenly we're doing a memory episode. Flashback with Junitor. What really happened at the Bastion?
Oh, yeah.
Today's one-on-one with guitar riffs provided by... That'd be pretty wicked, actually.
When you say that, I kind of think of did you ever play Halo Reach?
I never played any of the Halos except for the first one. Yeah.
So in Halo Reach, the story is that Reach was the planet where they trained all the Spartans and stuff.
Okay.
And that was one of the first human planets to be completely taken over and what they called blast, which is just basically bombarding the entire planet with plasma.
Okay.
And in that game, you are in control of one of the Spartans that was on the planet when it was destroyed, and so you kind of go into this thing knowing that eventually your character's probably going to die.
Right. Okay.
Because there were only like 4 or 5 Spartans that actually made it off of the planet. And so it kind of has this thing where it's like you're building up to this final moment, and there's this huge battle, and you're fighting to the last moment, but then, at some point you know that part of the story has to end. So you say that and I'm kind of like, like this huge battle taking place, and I like, my last moments, there's like monsters all around me, and I see this little, cryo chamber, and I'm like, last moment I got to do something and I just hop into it and that's like the end of it. Like that would be like I imagine that as like a really cool climactic like kind of end to that part.
For your character when
like,
the Bastion
like,
got taken.
Like the Bastion is being taken over and there's things all over trying to attack people and I see like friends and comrades all falling in battle and
I was even thinking like you get shoved into it.
Yeah, or something like that, yeah.
Like you don't remember why you were pushed into, why you were in it, or something like that. I don't even think we established anything for that. But I can't remember. Did we establish anything for that?
From what I remember us discussing, we talked about that it was because I realized that I couldn't do anything at that time, so it was decided that I should go into stasis for a while until it was more appropriate for me to actually try to cleanse the Bastion. I think that was kind of what it was kind of thrown together like in the middle of the session.
Yeah, fair enough. That they're all the same. Whatever we want to make it, right? And the question becomes, what would you prefer? You know, it doesn't have to be. I mean, what you describe is fine. Don't get me wrong. It's just I don't want you to be describing that because you feel like maybe you're limited in what you could do. Like throw ideas out, right?
Yeah. See, because the way I kind of think of it, and the way, like, the whole idea I had about, like, well, you know, like, the Bastion is being taken, and everybody's dying, and I'm like, I can't do anything right now. And I'm like, okay, well, yeah, maybe I just need to hop into one of these things and hope that somebody comes along and finds me, and maybe then I can do something. I kind of like that idea. Like, it was like, I really don't have any other choice. I have to do this, otherwise I'm about to die.
So wait on Frank here, actually. I'm surprised he's not here already. But yeah, doing a one-off like that for the establishment would be fun, would be cool. But I wouldn't want to do it off the cuff. Like if Frankie can't show up, I don't have anything written for that. I wouldn't want to just jump right into it. And I'd kind of be kicking myself actually in that case. Like, could I wing it? Yeah, I could. Does it really matter if I have it all planned out? No, not really, but I don't know. It's like, do you want to run the risk of making it shit? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hope he's alright.
And it was like you were talking about, like, last session, how, you know, like, a lot of how well the session goes is determined by how much prep work is done.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if you like to do things like by the prep work, like I have this stuff planned out, but then the pair party's like, no, we're not doing that. And it's like, oh, well, wait, that's what I had planned. I don't know.
Well, that's further than that even. I mean, the other side of this is you have to consider what ramifications the players' choices have had on the world, not will have, but have had, and having notes towards that, so that when the chips are down, you're not being reminded by the players of, an assassination that one of them caused, or somebody's destitution, or somebody's wishes. You know, they affected the world in some fashion, and the last thing you want to do is forget that, right? And not have something prepared for that. And so that's happened actually over the last 2 sessions, where with the injections that have been coming through, there was a little girl stowaway on Wednesday's game that I forgot. I mean, in all fairness, the game had been delayed for something like 2-3 weeks. But still, if I had had better notes, then that wouldn't have been an issue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've had stuff like that happen where, you know, like there were moments where I had something planned to happen at a certain point, and we just got so into it that I ended up completely forgetting that it was going to happen. And then later in the session, I'm like, oh shit, no, they were supposed to find something else there when they were looking around.
There was the thingamabobber with the what's it and the how you do, yeah. No, and then what? Ah, crap, I totally forgot it and it's gone. And so many.
And you're like, well, it's too late now.
Oh, so many great moments that I've completely fucked up. You know? So many great moments that I've fucked up. I don't know.
And that's something I tried to do, you know, like, and I don't do it as much as I could, but I also like, I mean, personally, I try to write down the important stuff.
Right.
Like really important stuff. And
Yeah.
then from that, I'm contemplating and extrapolating things and like, you know, building out the world, like you said, kind of based upon what the player's doing. Because the players have an effect on the world, and if they don't, then why are they even there? You know, so they have to have an effect on the world.
They have to have not just agency, but there's a term for it, but longevity, basically. Like, they want to know that if they gave money to some kid, he's not going to show up starving. He would, you know, but if he shows up beaten up, you know, and his money taken, then something's happened there, and they have an investment in that. You know what I mean? So, like, you give money to some homeless kid, and then you find him rolled for that money, and it's like suddenly you're responsible for that. Well, a player might take some responsibility and ownership and have some emotional investment in that adventure, right? That adventure being the hunting down of the asshole who rolled their buddy. And hang on a sec. Hey, yeah, what's up? All right, fine. Dad's gonna swing by for a sec. How much time you on this part? I should probably get the music going here. Soundboard's up, adventure's adjusted, should provide for a fun little thing. And yeah, we're still waiting on things. Well, the camera's holding at least, so there's that.
Yeah.
So what'd you do all week otherwise?
A lot of working, a lot of thinking. Yeah, my mind has just been completely absorbed in this Monday night campaign I'm devising.
Yeah, fair enough.
There's so many details that I'm putting into it that I'm like, I mean, a lot of it is just important because it's going to build the setting for everybody. But then there's a lot of it, and it's like, you know, I don't want to go too deep into just building this entire world and everything that's happening, because 90% of it the players aren't ever going to see.
Okay, yeah. Well, I find, it's best to do just bullet points of stuff. You know, broad strokes.
Yeah, that's kind of like what I've been doing, you know, like describing like how the whole artificial intelligence apocalypse even happened, you know, like, well, you know, you got your humans and elves and dwarves, and those are like the three main humanoids. There really aren't a lot of other exotic races yet.
Right.
And, you know, the humans are like the really greedy ones. Like, you know, humans are always the really greedy ones. They want a lot of power. They want to be in control, and so they start developing all this technology, and they finally built artificial intelligence. And, you know, the artificial intelligence is working okay for a while, but then it gets to a certain point where it's like, you know, it starts doing things that the humans didn't like. And so the humans start putting in countermeasures and stuff to keep it in control.
And the computers don't like that.
And the artificial intelligence is like, no, I don't like this. What are you doing? And that's when it starts to become its like self-conscious, realizing that humans can potentially shut it down, and it just goes, no, this isn't happening.
Yeah.
And it fights back, and it wins hard. And, you know, and then it's almost the same exact kind of setup as Terminator was, you know, nuclear apocalypse. Like, the whole planet is bathed in radiation.
Yeah, we don't need a lot of creativity there.
And, the radiation is actually what brings about all of the strange creatures and beasts that inhabit the planet. You know, things like displacer beasts and giant frogs and stuff like that.
Wait, are you actually still using traditional D&D creatures?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
wow. Alright.
It's going to be like a sci-fi fantasy mix.
Okay, fair enough.
So there's gonna be like robots and stuff like that, but there's also like, you know, your standard wolves and bears and stuff like that out in the woods, and, you know, creatures in the Underdark and deep caves and stuff like that. Like, it's gonna be like all inclusive.
Makes sense.
And so, you know, the radiation happens, and the story is going to pick up like several hundred years after that. So it's going to be like at the point where like even some of the oldest elves that might have been alive at that time are probably dead by now. And most of of the cities of people have been completely destroyed. There's a few small hideouts remaining, and you know.
What's the ecology like for that? Like, how do people survive in these cities? Where are these cities? In relation to where the robots are.
A lot of it is like in the sewer work.
So this is going to be very much like Metro, or what?
It's gonna be mixed. There's gonna be some city stuff, and there's gonna be some wilderness stuff.
Yeah, but there's no cities in the wilderness, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. Wow, enough range, right? What's going on there, right?
And you know, and then like, you know, the radiation again, that's where you get things like, you know, the Dragonborn and the orcs and stuff like that, like radiation causing these really, what's the word, drastic changes in the physiology of people. And the machines, as they look at it, they just look at all of human, like humanoid life, like elves, dwarves, all of it. And like, you know, so like when they say like humans, they're talking about like all humanoid life. Just all of them. Anything that walks up on two legs and talks in common is pretty much like seen as
the enemy.
Absolute enemy.
Yeah.
They are all to be either killed or enslaved. And the particular thing about the enslaving is that the machines don't even actually need slaves. They're doing it at this point out of learned spite and just absolute hatred for humans.
Hang on, I'll be right back, brother.
Oh yeah.
Be right back. Alright. Well, Frankie, where are you? Where is Frank? Is he alive? I hope so. I hope he's okay. I hope he's nothing like horribly serious.
I don't have any methods of which I know to contact him.
The only one I have is via Twitch.
Yeah.
How much people watching and no game? Damn. Well, I guess we're just gonna have to keep talking. We're gonna have to keep relating.
Yeah.
Fuck, I am terrible at this. So, you like Dags? I like Dags.
Dags?
You ever seen Snatch? It's a movie.
Gosh, if I ever did, it was a long time ago.
Fair enough. You know what? I forget how old some of these references of mine are. I gotta come up with shiny new references that are, hip and with it. Because I'm no longer hip and with it. I'm more like, hello, fellow kids. Fuck, man. That's funny. True story. I had the interest of a 20-year-old. I was like, wow, crazy. I don't know how I'm supposed to get on with you. Like, what are we talking about? I got bills. You got bills? She's like, I got a cell phone bill. I was like, that's cool. That's cool. How's your career? She's like, I work at a dollar store. There's not a lot of relating ground there, right? And, what are you into? Stuff, snowboarding. You? I'm like, no. Like, you into web development at all? No. Oh, yeah. Man, this dating thing's hard,
Oh, yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Couldn't do it. Could never get along with, and it served to prove a point. The ultimate point I'm making here is it served to prove a point I'd heard some time ago and I'd repeated a couple times, but I'd never had the opportunity to see in its full glory. Right? You gotta understand, I never actually messaged after this girl. I never made any inroads towards. She actually sought me out and started the conversation and whatnot. But the point being is, like, I had zero to talk to this girl about. There was no ground there. The point. Sorry.
The whole romance thing, flirting and good socializing. No. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was no hope for any sort of actual social contact for me. But the ultimate point I was making was, there's a point I heard once upon a time. It goes, "Do you find young girls attractive? Have you ever tried talking to one?" And that's the truth of, I guess, both sides. Like, not to make it gender specific, but if you're an older woman and you try talking to a younger guy, I'm imagining there's not a lot of common ground there. There's not a lot of relating points that you can bring up to meet on. You're just gonna go on a limb with that, But to see it in action, trying to relate to a person who doesn't know who William Shatner is. Like, dude, seriously.
I always like think about stuff like that. I'm like, man, how do you not know who William Shatner is? Do you know anything about movies?
Right. But what movies has he been in recently? I ask you that.
Well, recently, yeah.
Like, why would they know about him? Where is Frank?
I guess if they're not into sci-fi shows and stuff like that, then yeah, probably. I mean, I feel like if you ever look into like the news about like media, if you ever watch shows about popular media stuff, it's like there are some names that are they're thrown out there, and they are such commonly known names, and it's like I don't know. I guess maybe I read a lot of stuff, so maybe I see more like news articles and stuff than some people do. I don't know. Maybe. I mean, like, I read a lot of news stuff, though. I try to.
You try to read?
And, it's like, I'll be, like, talking about something that happened in the news recently. I'll be like, oh my god, you heard about this such and such place that got attacked, right? And they're like, no. And I'm like, you didn't hear about that? How did you not hear about that? It's all over the news right now. And they're like, oh, I don't watch the news. And I'm like, how do you know what's happening in the world if you don't read the news or at least look at it from time to time? Like, how do you know what's going on? Like, how do you know who's president? How do you know anything if you don't watch the news? And they're like, I don't like hearing all the sad stuff. And I'm like, oh.
Well, that's why I actually started curating my Facebook feed. I started subscribing to a bunch of news and whatnot on Facebook just to stay current. Because I agree with you. It's important to stay current. It's important to know what's going on in the world and to be abreast of major things where applicable to an individual, I try not to get too bent out of shape about things that do not affect me or that are completely out of my control. But the ultimate point is that I had all this shit on my Facebook feed, and it must have been, I don't know, over the course of like a month, I realized just how miserable and depressing my Facebook feed had become, because there was barely ever any good news. There was rarely ever a situation like, a person hugs another person and everyone had a good day. It's 29 killed in a fire, mourning parents are asked to come here, the bodies of 4 children were pulled out of the wreckage. It's just miserable, depressing. Terrorist attack yet again, politics is taking another nosedive, as blah blah blah, Trump. And then, and it just was this miasma of misery that I couldn't stand anymore. And it's like every day, you end up getting a phone call, and the phone call is from your depressed friend who can never be cheered up, and they tell you like, the doctor told me the itch on my foot is okay, just a normal itch, and you're like, yep, people get itchy. But I told him that the itch it was severe because I made it bleed. And he told me that I made it bleed. Well, that's what I told you. You were making it bleed. Yeah, but I was making it bleed because it itches, and it itches, and I made it bleed, but it bled because it itches. Oh. I can't take it.
Oh.
It's not my fault. Things make me itch, and people don't care. Oh, man. In any event. So that was the thing about the news. No, that was the thing about the news. It got to a point, right? And I couldn't take the amount of misery anymore. So I started curating it. I started removing things, hiding stories, getting rid of things. And then ultimately, I mean, the only happy stuff that was left, well, I didn't care whether the gays got anything, because, I mean, good for them, but I'm not. Doesn't affect me, right? So seed will too. And I don't garden. That was it. This town sucks for good news. I don't know, there's not enough stuff that I would be interested in hearing about these days anyway. It's like, for the news around where I live, it's construction, wine fests and stuff like that. There's no gamer conference is coming to Kelowna, and if we do have anything software related, it's guys who write interfaces 101 meet to talk about these fucking applets that made them stupid amounts of money, and I'm like, I don't want to go to that. I don't have stupid amounts of money, and I don't have a goofy app. Which neither is mutually exclusive when you go there either. People are just like, yeah, I got money. What'd you make it off? Dairy? Like, what are you doing here? Oh, I just came to see what's up. Oh, okay. Yeah, whatever. So you're not into software? No. Why am I talking to you? Because we were both drinking milk, I guess. I don't know. Bad. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck. I really don't. Where the fuck is he? Is he stuck in traffic? It's Sunday. I don't know, maybe. Did he forget? Did he go to Canada to celebrate Canada Day and hasn't made it back? I doubt it. You're in New York, yeah?
Did you get like arrested? Me? No, I'm in Texas.
Oh, right. You're in Texas. Never mind. How's the weather there?
Well, it's hot.
Mm-hmm.
But it actually hasn't been as bad this year as it has been. Surprisingly, we've been getting a lot of rain. So,
that's a good thing. That's definitely a good thing. That's a good thing. How's the audio coming through on your side?
It sounds good on my end. Yeah.
I haven't listened to the stream, so I don't know. I'm curious how the audio on the stream is. I noticed that all of my streams are really quiet. All of my streams are really quiet. And it's been driving me nuts, actually.
Yeah.
Is it quiet now?
No, I mean, it's not like quiet, like I can hear it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's the thing I definitely noticed. Whenever I watch it over, like, my TV, it is like, sometimes I have to turn
it up. Cracking it up. Yeah, I was watching it on the TV in there earlier today. I was taking notes down for today's campaign, planning it all out. Man, this is really miserable. Too bad Frankie's not here now. Now I'm 3 down. Go figure.
3 down and a 4-man.
I know, right? You know, the funny thing is that it would take a 4-man down to take out my Friday night. 3 people, I'm good with that. 2 people, 1 person, I gotta have something cool written out, you know? It can be entertaining if there's people watching, but, you know, if you're just doing the one-on-one, it's gotta be something specific that you got figured. Although there are exceptions. There was one kind of one-on-one I ran for Brandon there. Guy from my Wednesday game had a ninja in the middle of my campaign. And he suddenly took off after the target in the middle of the night. Everyone's deliberating back and forth about how they're going to take out the target. And Brandon fucks off in the middle of the night. He's like, I leave. I was like, alright. He's like, I head towards the gas castle. I was like, okay. And I go back to the people, like, you guys are talking for a while, and then I go back to Brandon after they finish talking or whatever and say, okay, you roll up on the place. And he's like, I scaled the wall and I was like, athletics roll, and he's like, alright. And he rolls it, and I'm like, you climb up the wall, and he's like, alright, I want to make my way towards this window. And I'm like, okay, you see it's 3 towers away, give me 3 acrobatics checks. He's like, can I use my rope? I'm like, okay, advantage on the first one, disadvantage on the second one. He's like, why? And I'm like, because the second tower's spiky. And he's like, alright, cool. And so he does his acrobatics checks, and he makes them all, and he gets up onto this guy's balcony. And the point is that over the course of about 25 minutes and a bunch of die rolls, if that, 20-25 minutes, I had him go through the entire encounter of dealing with Buddy and then escaping. And that was it. 25 minutes later, Brandon had just finished off the guy by playing complete stealth, right? Just because he had played it stealthy, he managed to get in and out and do the job. And he made all the rolls, right?
Yeah. And that's always an interesting thing. There are certain classes that, like, if they really wanted to, they could try to do something on their own. And if they're like for a rogue or something like that, like they're sneaky enough and they do it right, they can get in and out and nothing bad happens.
You have to, like, as a player, you have to be on your stats, and as a DM, you got to be on the tests. And it's just quick exchange, exposition, and then back to another exchange, and then exposition, exchange, exposition, get to the end, right? Because that's all it is. It's like the skill challenges, right?
Yeah.
Presenting decisions along the way, and then the appropriate skill challenges for an infiltration, or an assassination, or a rescue, an escort, whatever, boiled down to the most basic steps, and just the minimal amount of exposition to get through. Huh. It's now almost 5. Do I have like a whisper maybe saying anything to the effect of I'm out? No, just Brandon. Well, that sucks. Now I gotta come up with something for Judith over here, right? Alright, let's see what I got. It's gonna be got it. Alright. Ready?
Sure. Yeah. I think I'm ready.
I'm kind of doing like the Nicolas Cage. Okay, let's go. Right? Do you remember that from fucking Gone in 60 Seconds? No?
Oh gosh, yeah. That was it.
Yeah,
there's so many, like, Nicolas Cage just has so many moments that have just been turned into these absolute jokes.
Gone in 60 Seconds was more or less a shit flick. It was more or less a shit flick, but actually I shouldn't even say that. It was great car pornography, right? The podcast is still here.
Oh, yeah.
Eating dinner, drinking iced tea would be good, actually. Thinking of Sea Dog. What is Sea Dog? Do you know what Sea Dog is? Is Adapaga your people?
Adapaga's nickname for me.
Ah, okay. So I was gonna say, he's not my people. He's your people. We're charged up there. Give me love. Hey, we got love. All right. Switch over to. See what would be good is if I had an action cam. Yeah, it'd be good if I had an action cam and then you separate from it, but. So. How can I get both going? Ish. How does that look? Does that look like crap? That looks like such crap. Hey, do I win? How's that? That's better, eh? Sort of. They make you bigger. Boom. I love it.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's awesome. Alright. So this is a single man, boink, story about Junitor's last day in the Bastion. I suppose for this, I'm gonna need the house lights kind of specific. There's somewhere in there.
So being that this would be... Is this kind of like a prequel, right?
150 years in the past.
Yes. So what I'm thinking is, I would try not to metagame at all, and just be like, I don't know what happens in the future. I don't know that eventually Junitor is in stasis and pull him out. At first, I'm just going to be like, oh my gosh, something's happening. I'm gonna do as little metagaming as I can. Not just be like, okay, I'm gonna go here because I know something is gonna happen. I can't do that. Totally not me.
So you're gonna not meta is what you're trying to tell me? You're gonna try your hardest not to meta it. That's the gist of what you were just saying there.
Because knowing, like, I'm saying, like, okay, well, somehow I'm gonna have to survive this. Otherwise, we have a paradox. So I'm not going to be like, okay, I'm just going to, I'm going to charge in blindly? No, I'm not going to do that. I will definitely charge in, but not blindly.
Actually,
But,
I was going to say, there is the very good possibility that you die, and that's why you get stuck in stasis.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, but I can't think about that. Like I said, I'm not going to metagame that,
well, there's a good chance that you just fucked the wrong whore and you were put in stasis because you had syphilis, magical syphilis or something. I could edit it. Do you want me to tell you what happens? Screw the story. I'll just tell you. So once upon a time, there was a young dwarf, and he had aspirations of being a great dwarf, but shit happened, and he ended up in stasis. Yeah. Oh, roll a 20. If it comes up over 10, it was good. If it comes up under 10, it was bad. Okay, thanks for watching, everybody. What was that again? Oh, what'd you like, what'd you hate? What was your favorite part? What'd you like, please?
Well, I rolled a 10.
Sweet! It was neither! It was so-so! Oh, that's great. Alright. This music's kind of fitting, but not really what I want. But that's okay. So we're going to put that there. No. Woo! Jesus. I have a bunch of these gravestones, and there's one gravestone that fell and got broken one day. And since then, that same gravestone has fallen and become more and more broken repeatedly, and it's the only one that keeps falling and getting broken. So for this,
just real quick, wait, anything up on there?
Yeah, do your thing. Just do your thing. That's really loud with that right in my face. I apologize for that. I should almost just have the one microphone going, but you can hear me in stereo, right? Shoo-ba-doo-ba-doo. Shoo-ba-doo-ba-doo. back already?
Yeah.
It's all falling apart. All coming apart at the seams. The whole table's leaving it back.
And the neat thing is I don't have to de-level because I didn't level up yet.
That's awesome. Although if you had leveled up, it would let you keep it. Doesn't really matter.
Okay.
It doesn't matter one iota.
Yeah.
In fact, we could have even said there was atrophy while you were in the cell, thus explaining why you were lacking levels.
That's good. That's good.
Right? You might say this isn't my first rodeo.
Yeah, I'm still not as quite like I'm not like super creative with a lot of my little twists and gags and stuff like that, but I'm getting better. You know, I watch a lot of D&D videos, like, you know, people's sessions and stuff that they put on YouTube and Twitch and stuff. So, you know, I'm definitely learning. But, you know, considering I've only been DMing for a year, some people say I'm pretty good.
Well, the truth is, I mean, it's one thing to be good. It's another thing to be great. And I'm not saying that you're not great or good or whatever. I'm not even saying I'm great or good or whatever. It's just that with anything, that's all it comes down to. Is there's good and there's great. I'll say I want to be great, but time will tell if I am great or if I'm just good. In the meantime, that was not a bad track, actually, for what this is. Let's see if we can get something better out of McLeod here. This is Kevin McLeod's stuff. God. Just a range of albums. Weird. Carpe Diem, Traveler, Groovy. What is this? Macari, Latinas. Holy crap! What is with this guy's Reunited? Okay. Sure. Summer Day Easy Lemon, maybe? It's another fine morning for Junitor. As he makes his way through the hallway, benches rolling past as he makes his way, people walking. Good morning, Junitor. Good morning, brother. Good morning. How do you do? You stop and chat for a little while with a pair of your brothers. They discuss the latest smithings that are coming about on the hammerheads and ask you what you think of the weight upon them. How do you like the swing? The one asks you. Do you like the grip on the haft? I did the machining myself.
I take it from him and take a few little practice swings and then, you know, try to give my best judgment to, you know, how well balanced it feels.
What's your strength?
Sure. My strength is a 16 score.
It feels light to you. Very light, in fact. For the average hammer, you're surprised at how quickly the head changes direction in midair.
Is this meant for a smaller fellow? I mean, even as a dwarf, you know,
He nods and says...
It feels light for a dwarf.
He nods and says, I thank you for noticing. It is in fact for my son. I am going to be sending it home, and he shall train with it, thus that one day he may serve in my stead. At which point you guys bid each other adieu. They walk off. You continue walking along the hallway. A statue of the builder, statue of the builder rolls into view and rolls past. You continue walking along the hallway until you reach, Until you reach a wall. A doorway. There it is. Just somebody took a shit in the hall. Well, you guys do help the sick and dying here. Oh.
Yes.
Coming to the end of the hall, the door ahead of you is a heavier set one with a special lock upon it. Not to keep brothers out, but to keep whatever's behind it in. And as you approach it, there stands behind a guard looking through a slot, and he sights upon you and opens the door. You walk in through to the other side, a smallish chamber compared to the rest, where the camera pans through the doorway to show the experimental chamber beyond. Walking into the room, I'll get the ball. Walking into the room, the sister comes towards you and bids you welcome.
Hey, sister.
You're here today because your expertise in the rigging of the bases of the tanks before you has been brought into question. And so they are regarding you as the expert, given that you have spent the most time attaching things together in such the fashion that these tanks have been attached. This came about as a conversation with a conversation with a conversation that led to this. So point is that at this point you are now confronted with two strange glowing tanks, within which an arcanic energy swirls around, a maelstrom whirlwinding about on a center around a center mass inside the cubes ahead of you. Large tanks, silver and shining chrome, situate on either side of the tanks. The individual priests milling their way about the tanks are taking notes and making adjustments on controls attached to pipes overhead and behind. So, as you walk up towards them, they give you a nod, and you stare upon the bases. I want you to throw investigation. You know quite easily that the main problem with the bases is the way that they're fixated to the floor could be improved. They could be tightened down if there was a layer of rock taken out and a shank put in underneath, and then you could sandwich them down and lay a mat across, bolting it to a larger area. This is what you ascertain. How do you tell the...
I kind of, like, as I'm looking at the details, I inform them of all this. I'm like, these could, be better connected to the floor here,
Yeah.
Cleared up a little bit, cleaned up a little bit.
Okay, give me a persuasion.
Okay. Well, that's a natural 20.
Indeed it is. And with that, you set forth explaining to the individuals who listen solemnly and give a nod afterwards. The camera cuts away to show a couple papers being signed and individuals set to work. They begin tearing up the base around one of the tanks after having shut it down.
So is there anything inside of these tanks?
There doesn't seem to be anything. As soon as they shut it down, I should say, there's an odd noise and a shoof, a shifting of pressure, and you watch as the machines behind it, the massive cylinder specifically, rattles in position just, and then everything settles down. And a couple of the priests, as they're standing there, they adjust the levers and then they just hold steady. Nobody gave you any warning. Nobody said anything. It seems like it's pretty rudimentary, pretty standard.
I just have a quick question, because you mentioned that supposedly my skill in this matter has been brought into question. Now, when you say that, do you mean that they're questioning my work, or that they are looking for my advice?
They're looking for your advice. You didn't actually do these?
I just wanted clarification on that. Alright.
What's it gonna be, bud? So, where were we? It was, yo, Symbiote, you're in. Do you want to play? I need a second. Or I could use a second. We don't have to have a second. I can do this solo, but do you want to play? Come on. Come on.
Play. Yeah, you want to play?
Right up a 4th level, whatever, as fast as you can, and jump in. You can run it off D&D Beyond, right? So you go on to D&D Beyond.
Yeah, I actually just started using that today.
Yeah, no, I was reporting that the other day. It's not too bad. The only issue, like, it's gorgeous. The only issue is not content, because I'll get that in there. Right now, you can't export to a PDF, so, and printing it doesn't work so good. Did he duck out? Did he duck out? Oh, he's ducked out. Oh. Oh well.
It is still in beta, and I found that there actually seem to be some things that are missing.
Oh, I don't doubt it, honestly. They'll get it all in there.
Yeah. It's in beta, so.
Yeah, there's enough people that care, and it's gonna be good. Sorry, where were we in all this? So they just shut down the thing. As they shut it down, there's a rattle, and you watch as everything just evaporates and a little implosion occurs. And as it implodes, that's where the rattling comes about. A moment later, everybody sets to work. You have 3 laborers with you who dig up the bricks around the panels on the floor, and then the bricks, and then they set the floor with a bit of metal. And basically they follow your instructions over the course of the next 2 days worth of work. Throw persuasion, because it's the only leadership role.
13 plus my persuasion is a +0, so 13.
13, alright. You lead them just fine. They don't put in, they don't create like artistry or anything, but they do a good job. The metal goes down, the bricks go down, the boltings happen, everything seems solid. Through an investigation to inspect the work.
Switch up the dice here now.
See how good the other ones do?
That one's a little bit less, it's 11.
11? Still not bad. As far as you're concerned, everything looks good. You know your job. It's a simple job. You watch them all the way through. You're feeling pretty confident about it.
Alright. Good work indeed. So that was just the first one, or that they actually finished both?
They finished it up, actually, altogether. And 2 days later, you're telling the priest that it's all good, and they're about to turn it on.
Yeah, I think it's time for a test run.
All right. As you light it up, as it starts up, once again, there's a coalition of arcanic forces, swirls again of various colors, come whirling into existence, a small maelstrom at first, quickly growing to be a larger and larger swirling mass. Thicker and thicker does it become, and you realize that it's becoming brighter and denser than it was before. At which point, you start looking around at the priest, wondering, is this okay?
Yeah, I'm wondering whether or not that's a normal thing.
The camera spins around to show your face, a little bit of dishevelment upon it. You're not quite sure what to make of it, as another blast of steam emits from the boiler behind. One of the pipes falls loose and suddenly clanks down against the stone wall. And hanging there for a moment, one of the priests looks with a worried look towards the crystal chamber and back to you. And as you rush towards it, as it begins to shake and shudder, one of the other priests steps between you and the lever with a stern look on his face and gray hairs hanging down across his eyes. And he says, "Stop! Be patient! Have faith in the builder!" And behind him, a sudden crack breaks across the crystal chamber. And you just stare at it in awe as he stares at you, staring away from what you assume to soon become an explosion when suddenly, boom, you hear a resonation all across. And the shuddering ceases. And all the priests stand around for a moment, staring, some of them cluelessly coming towards as innocent monkeys might towards a massive black obelisk. They come towards the crystal box. And in this moment you're still thinking, is this okay? What do you do?
I'm going to just kind of observe everything, but I'm going to be keeping an eye and just trying to see if I notice anything that would worry me, any of the workings of this device, that if I notice something that could be dangerous.
Right. Okay, as you're observing upon it, you watch as the old man turns around calmly and casts mending across the crack, sealing it up with a word. You watch as he looks back at you. You're just watching the cube, right? And he looks back at you, and then he just walks off. Do you say anything? Do you do anything? Do you take an AO?
Wow, that was really, that was incredible.
You did good work, son. You did good work. Now do it to the other one. And the camera switches over to the other. A montage takes place. No rolls necessary. And the guys are walking away from a job well done. They turn it on this time. Now, actually, you know what? I'll give you an investigation check this time for the work as it goes. Not a leadership, but this will just count for the whole process, if you will.
Another natural 20.
Shut the fuck up, seriously? All right. So following through on this, you actually improve the process. Thus, the pressure the second time around is being released, and you seal up the exhaust as well as fix the other exhaust hose. So this time around, when you guys started off, the hose violently shakes, but the pressure is being released properly, and the room itself doesn't shudder as badly. The old man in the room there this time gives a solemn nod and a clap of the hands, at which point he disperses the room with a few of the other priests in the area. You, satisfied with your work, it has been 4 days that you've been at this, have come to the near end of your week. You're off to prayer studies, actually. So at the end of your week, every week, you have to go and put in scribe time or gardening time or hard labor, your choice.
I feel like Janitor's a gardener. I really do.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I feel the green thumb.
All right, I'm down with this. I'm down with that. Hard labor could be machining stuff too, right? It doesn't have to be just like breaking rocks.
Yeah. Just hard work.
That's what it is. That's right. So that all said, do you have any nature score?
Do I have a nature score? I don't think so.
Shit, so you aren't supposed to.
I think it's nature, wisdom.
Dude, roll up a character and play. Sorry, you were saying.
Nature. It says nature is wisdom, but it says I only have a +0. That doesn't make sense. No, nature's intelligence, perception is wisdom. That's why. No, I don't really have a nature skill, but I've been wanting to down.
I feel like you're spinning a horizon.
I surround myself with
I'm done with that. Okay.
And the builders and everything, and I just feel like sometimes you gotta get back to nature sometimes.
So having concluded your duty, thereby, you have yourself, you excuse yourself and head off towards the gardening center, as it were. And the gardening center is actually at the pinnacle of the Bastion. It's a roof garden. Starts in the center and makes its way out. Fuck it, yeah, let's do it.
Do it live.
We're doing it live! So yes, I only built that for the intro, so to validate your solo campaign and where the fuck is Frank.
That's okay. You know what? They are the ones that are missing out.
That's right. Those Mr. Outers, they don't know what they're missing out on. I'm so lonely. I'm so lonely. I'm glad you're here. I feel like the kid off of Memphis from Remember. I'm glad you're here. I don't know that I'd have any friends if it weren't for you, Colin. The truth, it burns so deeply.
I mean, let's be honest. How many people are hanging out with people over video chat because they have so many friends?
All the ones without the real friends. But yeah, I do it because I'm addicted to the game. That's not an excuse. That's literally my problem.
I'm from this
Okay?
I'm too socially awkward to meet with people in real life and be like, hey, do you want to come over and play D&D at this place that I'd rather you not be at?
Do you want to come over and share in some discomfort? I'm actually providing the discomfort. As well as the comfort. Because you're in my home. That's why I'm uncomfortable. What do you say? We'll have pizza. What's Alright. Fuck. The builders are very exacting people that are always whatever, who cares?
It's about law and order and
Yeah. And that's what I'm gonna tell myself.
everything is supposed to work properly. And
That's right. Alright, so Junitor. One of these days, I will have a holographic setup so I can do the thing like Assassin's Creed where it just generates this world. Right? I mean, I can dream, can't I?
that'd be great.
Wouldn't it?
Yeah. Excuse me. Ooh, this stuff is loud.
So you just head up to the roof, and it's a bright, sunshiny day. So beautiful out, so beautiful out. And we need walls because
Like that. Oh, that. It didn't sound like anything broke, but.
no, nothing's wrong. This shit is tough. Let's not tell that one. Let's not tell Paul about that.
The way that you're describing, like the whole holographic battle mat kind of thing, like the
Right? How cool would that be?
Would be like the evolution of like what Roll20 is. If I could get Roll20 to work, like
That would be what you'd want to do with it.
I hate trying to get Roll20 to work. I can't figure that shit out.
Oh, really? That's funny here, actually.
It's complicated for me.
I said the same thing, and people were like, "No, it's not." I was like, "Yeah, it is. It kind of is actually, and it does take a lot of work to get stuff done."
Because for me, the worst thing that I couldn't figure out was like, okay, and what if I just want to build my own map? What if I don't want to use one of these pieces that is in this list of things that I have to pay more money for after I buy the books and after I buy...
That's the biggest load of shit. What up, John? Yeah, no, that's the biggest load of shit, as far as I'm concerned. That is a serious pain in the ass. Seeing... Like, it just burns me seeing them recharging for stuff. It just does. I think this stuff should come with a code, and you apply the code, and you get whatever that you bought offline or online or whatever the hell. Ah, fuck it, whatever. There are corner pieces and I can't find them, so I'm not worried about it. I'll set that there. You know what I want to find is little miniature rugs and shit. Hey?
That's what Johnny said in chat. Holograms are jerks because they know that you can't do shit to them.
I don't know, ask Battle Chess that. It fucking hated me. Unless I put it on Chessmaster. And then I hated it. Like Rimmer? Fuck, I don't even need Hangouts at that point. I'll take a holographic representation of you. That'd be badass. Oh my god, imagine that.
I can imagine one of their jokes in Red Dwarf being like you know, I'm sure you probably saw the episode with the mail that they got from outer space and the alternate the AI that tries to come and take over that just turns out to be Holly fucking with them.
Oh really?
I don't know if you remember that one.
No, I fucking don't. I totally don't.
So like there was one where they had like a bunch of mail that came in and there was a thing that one of the people got, which was a mail delivery game of chess, where they would send a video of each person saying their move back and forth between each other. And I kind of just thought about, like, what if they did that with D&D? It's like a little video of the DM saying what happens, and then somebody sending a video back, being like one of their little gags.
That'd be funny, actually. That would be. You remember that thing, right? You guys have that?
Oh yeah, the little the lantern,
Beacon of Hope.
The thing I gave this morning. The Beacon of Hope, yes. I wrote it down somewhere, I just don't have all my papers
So I
I
guess.
set all my other stuff aside, and I'm like, alright, paper for Juditor's final day in the Bastion.
Yeah, that's kind of neat. Alright. So we'll set that there. Let's do. Sorry, this is taking me longer than expected.
No worries.
I thought I had some sphagnum in here.
Symbioarts has a date night. That's what it was.
Oh, I see. Going out and being all romantic. Going out to please the missus. To see how it is. Yeah, it's good, you know. Going out, being at the female's company. They appreciate that sort of thing. You know, you tell them they look nice, smell nice, taste nice, that sort of thing. They like that, you know. What the shit? Garden. Trying to kind of sell the concept of garden, right? Alright. This is gonna be like all bad. I'm telling you right now. This is all bad. Maybe we don't want that there. Alright. So we'll put a wall there, just there. Coming out of the doorway, some guards around, and we're gonna need some dudes, some peoples. Do you have any? Do you have like the Dungeon Master's Guide or anything like that? Do you have any?
Yes, I do.
Oh, actually, you know what? You can use the D&D Beyond as well, and get me. What is it? 2 of the. Not knights. The knights are really tough, but. You know what? Yeah, no, 2 knights. That's fine. We'll go with the knights. So. Pull out the knight stats, and you're gonna need those.
Sure. Yeah, I got the, actually got the monster manual. I can just pull that up.
Alright, terrific. Yeesh. Fucking sand. It gets in everything. Just gets in everything. Alright. Music. Climbing the many stairs. Your footsteps clumping heavily, echoing around in the narrow stone hallways, echoing loudly in the broad, luxurious halls. Laden with the trappings of the Father, you come finally to the last staircase, a long spiraling one, and making your way up it, steadily climbing one after the next, your footfalls heavier and heavier and heavier, until finally you break through to the other side. Break on through to the other side. Making your way through out into the open air, standing under the clouds of the sky above, upon the great bastion, the camera pans away from you, showing the beacon of hope with the priests making their way towards it. Individuals taking care of tending to garden entries against the inner walls inside of inside of a small hydroponics area. There you go. So it's got a roof, is what I'm trying to say there.
All right.
And you know what? I'm going to support that. As you come out onto the rooftop and make your way along, one of the knights falls in step. It's Brother Gilmas, a large half-orc individual who joined the cause many, many nights ago, many years ago, and has been a stalwart member, has conducted several defense maneuvers and offensive defense maneuvers over the years of service to the builder. And as he falls in step, he bids you, "How are you today, brother?"
Good, good.
"It has been quite some time since we have seen you. I'm sure the plants miss your green thumb."
Yes, I wish to get my hands dirty a little bit today.
Yes.
See if I can't maybe pick up a few things.
Sister Brathwaite, she explained to me that she herself is quite impressed with how quickly you've managed to kill several of the plants in her care. I have to say myself, I respect that. Willingness to take a life in the pursuit of knowledge, as you have done, is a commendable trait in a builder's acolyte. And truly I hope to see many acolytes in your care learn such the feats, such the morals.
Yes. Well, I'm off to it.
And with that, you give him a curt nod, he backs away, and you walk inside. As you walk into the interior of the building, some of the priests look over at you with a look of surprise at first, and then they give a sharp smile, welcoming you back to the garden. And as the camera pans along, showing you inside, it's slowly going to pull away, showing large plants behind. And then suddenly, from overhead, you hear a loud caw.
Can I see what it is?
Not at the moment, but the camera is going to meta swivel, and your knight, what was his name? Brother Gilmas? Gilmas is going to look up, and he's going to yell over to Brother Leroy. This is Brother Leroy. What's his last name? You will decide that later. In the meantime, Brother Gilmas yells over to Brother Leroy and says, "Arakokra! The birdmen swoop once more! Ah!" In comes one of the Arakokra towards the knight, and initiative is rolled.
Woo! Oh, that almost fell off the table. That's cocked. Okay, hold on. Let me try this again. Ah, there we go. 6.
Nice and shit. I like that. Let's get that up there. Oh, let's release some shit so I can get some shit up there. 6. This is Gilmas. since last tragedy, right?
Hmm?
Roll for Leroy and for yourself.
Oh, that was for Gilmes.
Gilmes.
So wait, so then his, yeah, he doesn't have any initiative bonus. Okay.
Gilmes.
Then Leroy is a 7.
Alright, Leroy's a 7.
And
Leroy's
the
a 7.
Juditor would be a 17.
Alright. Now that's hero numbers, not them rookie numbers. You gotta pump those numbers up, right? Hero is Junitor. I'm actually writing hero. Alright. And, what's it gonna be? Oh yeah. I rolled a 7 for Aeroconquer originally. So they're gonna go right here. Yeah. Sorry, one second. Okay, so. Oh, no. There's something I forgot. There's a statue of the builder. Just so everyone's clear, there's a statue of the builder in the room. Okay? I'm going to put another one over here just so we have that covered. Okay? Just got that covered. Alright. So, in any event, the Aerococker swoops in and. There it is. And Junitor can react first.
Okay.
Hearing the call and hearing Brother Gilmes yell out, you are fully aware of something happening, but you don't directly know anything more than it's outside. And Gilmes is right there at the door.
Okay, well, I'm going to run up to the door and see if I can see what he's doing.
You come rushing out, and sure as shit, can see the Aerococker come swooping in. It hasn't arrived yet, though.
It hasn't arrived yet. How close is it? Is it within about, I think, 60 feet for a guiding bolt?
Oh yeah.
20 feet, actually.
He's within guiding bolt distance.
Yeah, I'm gonna shoot a guiding bolt at it. Knowing that these things are probably known for attacking us pretty often. These guys saying this kind of stuff.
Yep. All of the above.
Well, that's an 18 plus the 4, so a 22.
22 will hit.
Damage. 19 damage. And the next attack against him has advantage.
19?
Yeah, 18. It's 46, and I rolled a...
Cool.
Yeah, I rolled 7 and 11.
That's awesome. Alright, cool. So from there, it's over to Myrakakra. You come rushing out the door, hurtling the hammer away. It flies easily, striking against the opposition. The Aerococker suddenly, dives down from the impact, trying to recover, bringing itself in for the charge. Swoops in low with disadvantage. There is going to miss and crash in through the front. Roll me a dex check.
Okay.
8. It crashes into you, and the both of you fly backwards into the garden. Smashing against the back, you will take 11 damage from the strike, and he will take the same. Although my rules are half, I'm going to give him the full because he's not expecting this in wings as well. So he's taking 11 points of damage from the impact, as do you. The two of you crash horribly into the garden. Pieces of pottery, plant life, leaves, berries, you name it, goes flying in all directions. It's really bad. Like, very destructive. It's terrible. Absolutely terrible. I can't believe you did that. I can't believe you've done this.
I'm a little upset about this. I've been trying to do my best to help this stuff, and now look at all the damage he's doing.
Sister Sister Brathwaite looks at you as you go flying past with an Aarakocra speared into you and just rolls her eyes at the destruction and gives a by the builder shrug of her hands. So that said,
is it still alive?
It's yeah, no, it's very much still alive. Both of you are very much still alive.
Okay. Will it be my turn again?
Yeah, I'm just wondering. Sorry, I'm looking at my sounds here for a moment, wondering if I can get. I have no bird anything, so never mind. I thought I had some crows or something, but I really don't. And I don't feel like digging something up on YouTube, so. Okay, yeah. So from there, it's gonna be overhead for another one coming in. I thought I had another one right here. Sorry. I'll have to just use mics, I suppose. Oop, no. Come here. Hey. That is a good fucking magnet. Well, you know what? I'm not going to use mics. I can use mics, and I'm going to leave mics alone. And that's just how that's going to go down. I have, like, lots of these guys. Right. So the camera's going to swivel away. Whoop, yeah, that's not good. Alright, swivel away and show several more come flying in. Oh, that's my hands. The one hawk. There you are. Me too. Anyway, so they're going to swoop down and land right around here-ish. This guy just does not want to cooperate. Having double moved, they drop down there. Not the best tactics, but whatever. However, it's overhead that you watch as this guy soars and he comes flying through. Now, in his hands, you can see that he's got a big basin of some sort, like a big jar. I don't know why I said basin. He's got a big jar, and he's carrying it while he's flapping as hard as he can. And he's flapping towards you guys, but an eddy catches him and throws him off course. And as it does so, he loses control of the basin. The basin falls down, landing down below with a. Several of the people scream out as this occurs. We're gonna do that. Oh no! Several of the people scream out as the explosion takes place. Some of them manage to run away. Ah! Some of them not so much.
Oh my.
Oh no! Okay. Not the garden! No! Alright, so, as the fire rages on, the camera pans over to Leroy. That was amazing. It's just licking at it. Just slightly, ever so slightly licking at it.
That's a good idea. It's a good angle. Just one question. Does Leroy have any chicken?
No, but you smell it cooking.
Alright. So, am I controlling it right now?
You are? Yeah.
Okay. Well,
that's why you have the night stats. They're both knights.
Yes, got it. So Leroy, he's just gonna, I think he's gonna go ahead and just take a couple of swings with his greatsword.
Okay.
And so the first attack will just be against the one on his most left.
All right.
That's looking to be 14 plus the 5 from his greatsword. 19.
14 plus 5 from his greatsword for 19 total damage, or a 19
no,
to
not
hit.
Damage to hit.
Okay. Yeah, that's on the smokes.
Alright.
Leroy swings around. Two of the Aarakocra manage to get out of the way, but one, unfortunately, is caught by the blade.
Alright. So his damage on the first swing is going to be an 11 plus 3, 14 damage.
Terrific. Nice hit. He spins around, stabbing against one of them, narrowly pinning, but missing just slightly, putting, 14 damage into him. Cutting against his wings slightly, he takes out a bunch of feathers, but doesn't manage to impede the guy's flight. That said, the camera's going to swivel off to show Gilmes.
Alright. Well, I think Gilmes is going to take a shot with his crossbow.
Okay.
Before running in. He's going to run in afterwards. And that's 2, so 13? Probably not.
13, I think we'll hit them dead on. Actually, I have to check. Hang on. I'm just going off book stats for this one. 12 is their AC.
Oh, so he does manage to hit.
Oh yeah.
So with his heavy crossbow, let's see here. Ow, minimal damage. Looking to be a 1. Yeah, just 1 damage.
Really?
Because he has absolutely no dexterity.
What did you hit
But
him
he's
with?
going to charge in. I rolled a 1 on the damage die.
A wind blows through. And suddenly, the garden goes alight. One of the individuals screams out, "No!" And the priest throws himself into the flames. "No, my garden! No!" And he is immolated by the flames, to your horror. The horror. Brother Gilmes watches on in abject disbelief as the camera swivels away back to Junitor.
Well, I'm gonna just go ahead and get up and just start trying to pummel this thing with my warhammer as much as I can.
Alright.
Let's see. That's 10 to hit.
10 will miss.
Yeah.
As you attempt to pummel down with your weapon, you fall just short. You lose your grip, but it's held on by your wrist. Swinging around for a moment, you retract back and grab a hold of your weapon in your hand once again.
And as a bonus action, I'm going to cast a healing word on myself, and I'm just going to, let's see, I'm going to say a quick little prayer. Let me find one of my, where is it? The D&D stuff. The prayers, where are my prayers?
Oh builder, my builder, yo builder, hey builder.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Let me just tell you that I am down with you.
Oh yeah, here's a good one. Yeah, if thou hast eyes to see the glory of the builder, but do not, then pluck them out. I think that's a fitting one for these birds. And yeah, so I'm going to cast a healing word on myself.
Alright, cool. Take 5 experience.
Nice, that's maximum heal, so that is plus 1 from the spell level, plus my life, plus 2, so 11. So that's actually back up to full health.
Nice. Alright, so with that, you conduct your bonus action, down upon yourself, giving yourself a little bit of a blessing, healing up a few of the wounds, suturing them up, removing the bruises, etc. You feel great. The camera's going to swivel from you to me. Excuse me. The Aarakocra underneath you gives a squawk and a caw as it attempts to leap up into you and slash you with a talon. to kick off. You manage to grab a hold of it by the shoulder and shove it out of the way. Its legs being strong enough to pull itself up. Nope. You manage to push it back down, and it keeps the Aarakocra down, brother. Keeping it down. And with that, the camera's gonna swivel out here, where Leroy, as surrounded as he is, squares off against several of the Aarakocra. The camera's slowly panning around him as the one leaps in towards him and another comes towards. He suddenly steps to the one side where he's slashed with the talon of another. Actually, what's his AC? It's 18, isn't it?
With his plate armor, should be right up here. Armor class 18 with plate.
Alright, never mind. As he steps out of the way of one ever so easily, he's scratched on the back by the talon of another, and he just looks back towards it as the one in front takes a nat 20 with its spear and shoves it into you. Or shoves it into Leroy, anyhow.
Alright.
This guy's gonna be, oh no, it's just D6, alright. D4, that is to say D6 brings up 4 plus 2 for 6 total damage as he stabs into Leroy there, poking a massive hole into his breastplate. The blade just barely pierces into his chest, causing blood draw and pain, but no major injury. Maybe just like a band-aid and some aching for a week or so. It's infected, etc. That's a different case, but anyhow, he's okay for now. It's okay. Camera swivels away to show. Actually, no. Camera swivels nowhere. The camera focuses in on Leroy as the spear finds its way into him. Leroy suddenly gets a steely look in his eyes, and what?
Okay. He's gonna take some attacks. He does get 2 attacks. I forgot that the last time.
Oh, I'm gonna rule that these guys are basic. Sorry, no. Basic followers of the builder, so they have healing word and effectively what's it called, shillelagh for their hammers.
Okay. One second. Yeah. Sorry.
No worries.
Alright, so they have healing word and they have shillelagh?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, so he's gonna make a couple of attacks.
Attack!
All at the same target that he was attacking before. So that one, it's only going to be a 10 on the first one, but the second one's going to be a 15.
Okay.
Because that's, because it's 12, right? Yeah, and so then it's going to be... 9 damage.
Okay, so this is going to be against the same one that he was hurting before?
Yes, the leftmost target for him.
9 brings back 2. Actually, how many hit points do these guys have? Yeah, that guy's dead.
Nice.
Oh, sorry, leftmost. Leroy slashes up towards, he twists to the one side as the Aarakocra yanks his spear out, and slashes through the guy behind him, who just drops over, and then he stares back at the first one that stabbed him with a steely gaze. A little bit of blood trickles out from the hole in a spurt as he breathes.
Alright, yeah, and that's going to be his turn.
Terrific. From there, it's over to Brother Gilmes. Gilmes, he's a hero. Let's find out how.
He was running up, pulling out his greatsword now. He's going to try to take a couple swings at the closest one he can get to.
Awesome.
And
he, with resolution, rushes forward.
double 17.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Alright. So Brother Gilmas comes in roaring.
That's 7, 3, and 6s. Plus 6 from 2 hits. So 16 total? Both hits?
From both hits?
Yeah. Total damage.
Alright. So Brother Gilmas comes soaring upon, grabs a hold of this guy, takes him down to the ground as he's in mid-flight. As he's in mid-air, he jumps up, brings out his sword from his bag. Just he's got like one knee into the guy's spine, right? So he leaps up, plants a knee in there, brings out the sword from his back, and just cuts off the head of this bird, and then lands with his knee in it so it can't like wriggle or anything. It smashes into the ground, his knee splitting this Aarakocra in half. Blood splatters about in a nice Sam Raimi-esque pool, and he sits with his sword jammed into the ground and pushes himself up off the ground with it. Gives a quick swipe with the claymore, and the blood flies away. So all that happened. There you go.
Nice. Yes.
And then the camera's gonna swivel away to you, Janitor. What do you do? Oh, you're still pinned down with the Aarakocra. Oh, fine.
Yeah. And I totally forgot last time that my attack was supposed to have advantage, but now that effect is worn off. And... Or hold on, actually. Did actually... I don't know. What's the ruling on that? Since I didn't use the effect from the Guiding Bolt last time, but I've...
You can use it now. I'm alright with that. I don't give a fuck. Go ahead.
Okay. Alright.
I say you're inspired in this moment. The adrenaline made you forget to use it. And so you take the effect anyway. Because
well, that would be with the Warhammer of 24.
Fantastic hit. Are you a hero? Are you gonna be a hero when you swing into tonight? When you rolling those dice and you getting those crits and you're gonna be naughty and nice.
From the Warhammer?
How much?
9.
9? 9? 9?
9.
9!
9.
9! Alright, so he takes 9 damage. As you pummel him, this is with your hammer, sorry? This is with your hammer.
Yes, this is with the Warhammer.
This is Crotcha-Crocra. You pummel him down. You're not really holding him down at this point. You're not like wrestling him down any longer. Like before I was just kind of saying that, you know, you guys were still gonna wrestle. But you separate yourself from him. He is not interested in holding on to you. You smash him across the beak. His lower jaw kind of swivels back and forth and then hangs loosely to one side. Blood trickles down off of where it's joined with his head. And he kind of does this, sort of, as he realizes what you've done to him. And with a resolution, he leaps forward against Junitor. Feeling inspired in the moment, he takes a stab with his now busted spear. Holding the head like a dagger, he comes forward and plunges it towards you with a 16 plus bonus for 20 versus your AC. Does that hit?
Yeah, definitely.
Alright.
Yeah.
He only rolls as the blade skips off of your armor. It takes a nick out of your arm instead of your torso, stabbing you for all of 3 damage. Hang on, is it 3? No, sorry, it's 2. So it's 4 damage total. Stabbing into your arm, you wince in pain with the penetration of the blade, and he gives a in your face as frustratedly as he is, realizing that he's missed the mark and may die for nothing. The camera swivels outwards. With now 2 of the opponents dead, the last one disengages and begins to take flight. A ready to bonus action from... No, never mind. The camera swivels away though, to show. Oh, hang on. Where'd he go? There he is. The camera swivels away from Leroy and Kilmus, who feel good about themselves, to show this asshole grabbing a hold of the beacon of light, beacon of hope, and he begins to take flight. The massive beacon behind suddenly shuts down as the light no longer illuminates it. The flower next to it suddenly folds down. And several of the priests, well, actually the only remaining priest that hasn't burned on, and a couple of these guys over here, I guess, they suddenly shriek out in abject horror. Horror! As, hang on, can I get this on there? Come on, fucker. Oh, whatever. I've got high hopes. Alright, so this guy, see, this is super important, is flying in overhead as such, trying to take flight, but it's really heavy. The beacon of light. Wait, did I establish that before? How heavy did I say it was?
You said it was a couple pounds.
Oh, never mind.
Oh.
So fuck it. He starts to take flight, getting higher and higher and higher ever so quickly. Flying up overhead with the beacon now completely dark in the hands of the enemy. And away he goes. And the camera swivels away to show.
Thought about this, he's gonna be so upset.
So, this one right here has taken flight. He's now 40 feet up. He's over here-ish. And this guy's up here. So you got one over here, one over here. There you go. Totally clear as mud. I hate flying stuff.
I think, is it up to Leroy and Yilmaz now in initiative?
It is over to Leroy, literally, yes.
Well, Leroy, I'm seeing that rep take the beacon. I think he's just going to try to take a shot at the one carrying the beacon.
One sec.
Yeah.
I totally fucking forgot to do this. I never started the fucking injection system. The whole time we're playing, I'm like, something's missing. What the hell is it? I don't know. I'm missing something. No. Fuck.
I gotta take a quick little bathroom break.
Yeah, do your thing. Do that. I know the text goes through the screen, but live with it. Injections are open. Boo! Alright, so there you go. What are you talking about, the custom system that I spent an entire 2 days coding, you know, just for the sole purpose of having people inject upon the game? I don't remember a thing about it. Do not hit my show. The only thing hindering my show right now is the absence of the only player. So... no worries there. Hey, you want some smog? Let's have some smog. Let's have some smog. Who wants some smog? I want some smog. There you go, some smog. Eventually I will get around to polishing these things. But that is an eventually thing. That is not a today thing, unfortunately. I should change up the music actually. Because this next section that's coming up is going to be awesome, but this will not be appropriate. McLeod! Give me something psycho killer, oddities. How's oddities? Anachronist, narcissist, petulant march.
Okay.
No, that's not going to work.
That?
Damn it. That's not going to work. Light electronic. No, fuck no. Vicious? Let's try this. Ossuary. No! Okay, maybe that's supposed to be like vicious sick beats or something. ossuary words. Let's try this. Hey, this works. Alright. As the beacon of hope begins to sail upwards, the camera swivels to Leroy in this moment. In this momentous, tragic, possible tragedy.
Alright, so Leroy, he's not good with crossbows. He's not good with crossbows at all, but he's gonna try.
That's what matters.
And he rolls a 16. He rolls a 16.
He hits like a knight of the builder, like a champion of the father, like a man with a purpose, a man in need of success.
So damage is gonna come out to, oh, that's not that bad. That's 6 damage.
6 damage? Not bad, but not enough.
Not enough.
As it pierces into the birdman above, he gives a grin to see the blood spurt from its body, but the grin turns to an immediate frown as he realizes the birdman is not coming down. He curses under his breath. Nothing sacrilegious, because that would be sacrilegious.
Well, he's gonna look over to Yomez and be like, you gotta stop it.
Yomez looks with a steely gaze upwards towards the heavens.
And I guess, yeah, he's gonna grab his crossbow and try to take him down. And he just flat out misses with 8.
Oh shit! The two knights pull out their crossbows, one after the next. They fire their bolts, sailing away, one piercing, one going astray, flying through his feathers and sailing off into the heavens, armless. At which point, Leroy looks to Gilmus, Gilmus looks to Leroy, and the camera swivels away to Junitor once again.
Well,
still alive on the ground. Oh, sorry. Still alive on the ground. Did that guy actually do anything last round? I actually forgot to make him attack you.
I thought trying to hit me missed.
Did he? No, wait.
No, he did hit me. He did hit me last turn. It just didn't do very much damage.
You mean when he crashed? Oh no, that's right. That's right. My apologies. Moving right along. It is over to you then.
We landed. He swung and missed. Then he swung and
missed. He tried to stab you with the spearhead.
Well, I'm gonna grab him and try to start dragging him outside, actually, because I know something's going on outside. However, I don't want to kill this guy yet. I want to see if he understands me.
Okay.
I'm gonna start asking him, like, as I'm grabbing a hold of him, I'm asking him, like, do you speak common? Do you understand me?
He caws up at you. I understand. You will die.
Good. And I just start dragging him outside.
Okay, sounds good. So give me a strength check to keep a bird down.
That's 6.
6? That's amazing.
The dice plus 3 compressor.
That is incredible. As you go to drag him, he goes to claw at you with his talons. You dodge out of the way of it, realizing you won't be able to take him with you this round.
Alright. Yeah, that's it for me.
The camera swivels away to show the bird beginning to take further flight, gaining height, altitude, when suddenly passes over past him a Pegasus and a flash of light from a sword that cleaves through the bird and causing it to fall down to the ground below. The beacon tumbles, falling down towards Earth. It's like, oh my goodness, wow! Right? Until
it didn't break. That's good.
In the distance, the single Aarakocra flies away. and flies past the camera. Camera swivels back inside to show you. You want to keep this guy alive, eh? That's what you wanted?
I'm trying to. If I have to knock him out for now.
It shows you as the camera swivels in. It shows you literally just across the beak of the critter. He falls backwards and out of frame, clattering to the ground a moment later, unceremoniously clattering against all of the various broken bits behind him.
Alright.
The camera
start dragging him outside.
Camera pans outside, shows you dragging the body out. Pans along to show the larger.
To figure out like what was just going on out here. So there was the thing that flew off and. Oh, Pegasus, yes. Wow. Wow, who's this?
A Pegasus lands,
Who are you?
and a large, very large individual, a male, steps out, steps off of the Pegasus and out from behind a pair of massive wings.
Wow.
As he steps forward, he does so with a hurried gait and reaches over towards the beacon, and as he bends down to grab it, the entire place begins to rumble, and he yells out, "We're too late! It has been thrown off balance!" And everyone's like, "Why did we leave something so critical out where a fucking bird could grab it?" And the camera pans along everybody's stern faces as he holds the beacon and says, "Why didn't you just hold it in place or just bolt it down or something?" And he looks to you, "You make bases! Why didn't you prevent this?" And he takes the beacon in hand, and he says, "I'm just kidding. This has absolutely nothing to do with what's going down. Speaking of which, does anybody know why we're seeing the place shake?"
Oh gosh. Are the Arakocra doing anything?
No, they're very dead. The Arakocra are doing shit.
No,
They're congealing at this point.
Like he's really confused right now.
Okay, fair enough. But as it stands, you're situated amongst your brethren that remain on the rooftop, who are now increasing in numbers as people are coming up to see what the commotion was about. The place was shaking for a brief second, and now quells a moment later. And as you stand there, your heart beating quickly in your chest for the sudden vibrations that you felt, the sudden quake at your feet. A moment later, Leroy and Gilmas, looking at one another, get the idea that perhaps they're needed inside and elsewhere, but they're not sure if they should leave their posts. This fellow right here, he takes the beacon, he flies his Pegasus over and puts this down on top of the glass temple there, which of course immediately begins illuminating the place once again.
Well, Gomez, Leroy, it seems as though things are calmed down here. I think perhaps maybe we should go see if somebody needs help. Would I possibly be able to determine whether or not it is normal for earthquakes to happen in this place?
It's really not. The last time you felt a vibration of that particular magnitude or pattern rather is when you were in the experimentation chamber where you fixed the base.
Okay. Then I'm starting to think maybe I should go check on that and just make sure that everything is still going okay.
Well, it's not really your place or concern. You're not a member of that sect. They only had you down there so you can fix up the chambers. It's not really so much so your position in the union there, buddy. Right, so you want to head down there?
I think I just want to go down and make sure everything's still running okay. Because
Yeah.
there was that one incident, and now there's this quake happening, and I just, a little concerned. Just want to check in on things.
So, hang on, sorry. You make your way down from the rooftop as fast as your feet will carry you down the spiral staircase. Thick the air hangs all around you, your breath heavy in your lungs. Your feet slopping against the pavement as quick as your legs can carry them. You make your way steadily down hallway after hallway, passing door after door. It's very much like a Jetsons montage, actually. A loading screen pops open. One other thing. When Buddy landed, he should have said, "I'm sorry, my brothers. I failed in my duties to keep the Birdmen at bay." So that just interject that in there.
Yeah, so he's like a patrol.
He is a patrol, yeah.
And I guess I probably would have recognized that.
Into the San Diego. Oh, Jesus. Yeah. It's all over my hands. I feel so dirty. Let's get all that cleaned up and out of there. Just got this workbench area off to one side. Wouldn't it need to have a one-off show in for a round, actually? Like have Symbiote actually jump in. Fuck, I can't remember his name for the life of me for some reason. So if you're headed to you will be how do I want to do this, actually? You know what? I'll do it like this. It's fine. It's totally okay. Where are you going, table? Okay, that may have been excessive. That may have been actually kind of pointless. Maybe even completely pointless, who's to say? Oh, that worked. That's alright. That looks okay, eh? That looks like I know what I'm doing. Oh boy, the lie I'm living here, eh? Whoop. Boom. And boom. So, kind of sort of thing. Throw one of those there. Couple throw pillows, a TV news reporter. What do you think?
Yeah, sounds good.
What the shit is the, actually, you know what? garnishment in there. Just getting it right down to the nitty gritty. That's how it was meant to be anyhow. Alright.
Just that hammock.
No doubt, eh? As you come rushing along, into frame you show, and all you see is a wide open door, busted on its hinges, a head between two, a knight situated there in the center with a black tar that seems to be feeding on him.
Oh gosh, oh wow. Well, I think I should try to help. Why would you? Oh man, I want to try to cast a guiding bolt at that black mass that's enveloping him.
Okay.
But I'm worried it's gonna hurt him. But I'm hoping that since it looks like he's a knight, he has a little bit of hardiness. I've seen him in combat; they can take a few hits. I'm gonna cast a guiding bolt and try to hit the black mass.
Alright.
Something about a 16.
16 is gonna hit. I just need a. Let's see here.
Okay. Let's see what kind of damage we're looking at. 6, 3, 5, 17 points of radiant damage.
Oh, is it radiant? Oh, sweet.
I think because it's a guiding bolt, right?
Yeah, no, fair enough. As it strikes upon him, the entirety of the gelatinous form begins to shimmer as it goes bright, and you see the whole of the gelatinous form actually wraps up the side of the wall and through the door frame, and is just basically pouring out of the chamber beyond. Hang on one second. I got some water. Be right back.
Oh, good. I'll get that up here. So I would take that opportunity.
So, that said, it illuminates ever so brightly, shimmering, as you strike it with the radiant energy. You can hear, you can feel the inspiration of the Father within you, and you have inspiration on your next strike.
Okay.
As this guiding bolt.
So did it get off of him?
No. It just, the radiant energy soaked into it, and it took, how much damage, sorry? 4?
Damage, it took 17 radiant.
17 radiant, okay. Mm-hmm. 17.
And I want to start trying to run towards him because I really want to help him. I want to see if he's still. I mean, I'm thinking he still looks like he's alive. Hanging.
You rush towards him, all again trying to help him, right?
Yeah.
And sorry, one sec. If you think I should have all the stats set up beforehand, you don't understand my prep work. Hey. Where the hell am I here? Oh, right. potion. 11O PQRSTV LMNO. This is the problem with making it up, but moreover the problem with having a torn up fucking sheet of paper for a monster's manual. Alright. Yeah, it's got no damage immunity towards that. Alright, you guys are great. So, having said, you fire away. It is what it is. Yeah.
Is this guy still alive, though?
Yes.
Okay.
He's just shimmering with the energy, and you ran forward, and I'm waiting to see.
I mean the knight.
Oh no, he's very not. Yeah, he's very not.
Well, then okay. If I once I can tell that he's dead and I can't really help him anymore,
Right.
then I would probably not get that much closer to this thing. But I'm still moving forwards to try to at least. I mean, I don't like it, and I don't think it should be here. And I think I need to try to get rid of it to kill it. Whatever it is, it just killed something.
Yep.
Buddy.
Oh yeah. And it's like slowly melting it and consuming it.
Is it taking a turn yet? Am I taking a turn? Because I'm just gonna keep using guiding bolts on it until it looks like it's dying.
Oh, if you're done, you're done. Okay, great. In that case, it's going to continue to consume the guy unabated.
Hey.
It took its turn. Your turn again.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead. I'm only gonna put one more guiding bolt into it before I try to figure something else out. So now I have advantage. So let's see what I can get. A natural 19.
Okay.
That's plus 6, so 25.
Firing another guiding bolt into it.
No, 23. I'm sorry.
This is another guiding bolt.
Yes.
Okay. Firing another guiding bolt into it. The thing shimmers once again. Roll your damage. And meanwhile, from inside the chamber, you hear, "Who's out there? Help! Help! We can contain it!"
That's going to be an 13 radiant damage.
Alright, another 13 radiant damage goes down upon it, bringing it to 30 points even. Very nice. The voice echoes out from beyond the doorway as the massive black mask rides about, shining in the torchlight, glistening against your bolts. Oh, sorry, I should have said, on your last strike, it recedes from the doorway somewhat, showing a little bit of a pathway through, but not such that you wouldn't pass over it, stepping into it.
Oh, I don't want to touch this stuff.
You could try for an athletics to jump across it.
I can try to do athletics. Let's see. You know what? Let's see here. I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use, I'm going to cast the second level spell, Invincibility, and I'm going to give myself Bear's Endurance with, no, not Bear's Endurance, Doolz Strength. That's the one. The target has advantage on strength checks, and that would be athletics.
Yep.
I think I want to try that to get over it.
Okay, so just to recap, what are you doing exactly?
I'm using Enhance Ability in the spell, and I'm giving myself advantage on strength checks.
Which is athletics to jump across. Go for it.
Yes, to try to jump over.
12 or better.
That's pretty good. With a 13 on the dice, it comes out to...
You make it.
16.
In spades, do you leap across, landing on the other side with the clatter of your hard boots? You slide a little bit against the remains of And on the other side, oh, excuse me. Oh, and we're gonna, sorry, how are we gonna do this? Shoo-ba-doo. No, that won't work. Nah, no, that's not gonna work either. I hadn't thought about how I was gonna do this in fact, actually. I mean, I'm doing this all on the fly, right? And I had an idea, but
Yeah, hey, I'm happy with everything so far.
no, it won't work. Bear with me. I may have to just. I honestly just don't have a bowl of metal. A metal bowl. A metal frame. I don't know. Oh, you know what I do have? Oh shit, I know what I have. Aha! Aha! You're an idiot. I got a fucking metal bowl right here. Ha! Oh, wait, how the hell am I gonna do that? Where'd my frame go? I had a frame that I was using before. Or had the intention of using. I don't really have one. Man, whatever. Piss me off. I can't find the one thing I need to. Oh well. Not the end of the world. Alright, we're gonna go with that.